And welcome back to this fabulous next 15, 20, 35, 42, and 20, 20, whatever time it takes for Joe to learn you. Oh, yes. Joe really likes learning students. Learning you guys stinks. Okay, so with that said, we're going to have Joe's famous tricks of the trade class.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have many different tricks of the trade that
Right.
you do, right?
Yes, there's a lot of them.
Okay. So
So-
today he's going to do something. I'll let him tell you. So your
Okay.
microphone's on?
Yep, I hope so. Yes.
There we go.
All right.
Take it away, Joe.
Thank you, Robert. Robert's working double shift. He was at an expo today, set up the Zoom stuff. He's got me here. I tell you, he's a man of so many hats. It's amazing. Got to give him a round of applause, what he does. But anyway, welcome back, everybody. To give you a little history, I don't know if some of you are new with me, and maybe the last time you want to see me, I don't know. But I've been in the business. I started playing when I was 5 years old, piano, which of course I hated. And then when I was 10, I went to catechism, and the nuns found out I was playing the piano, and she said, "Oh, I'm going to teach you the organ." So she gave me 3 years of the organ playing. So that got me started. And then I went through high school. I went through a school that had 4 years of music. And it was, and then I went through 6 years of college, performance and a degree in music education, and did everything. And so I was brainwashed. When I mean brainwashed, when I got out, I wanted to make sure everybody learned what I went through. And you know what? I lost a lot of students. Because all of them said, "You got to be kidding me. You've been through all of that. I'll never be able to play that." So, for almost 35 years, I worked on this tricks of the trade. And I mean that about 30. Every time I got something new or we played something new, I said, how can I teach this to somebody to have fun? And now that we are in the generation where the organs have an easy button and the easy play, it's even easy. And I used to say, I hate those. And some of you may have MCS Plus. If you don't know what that is, get to it, your teacher. I hate that instrument, that part of it the worst. You know why? I spent 3 solid years learning how to find chords, and that thing does it with one button. One stinking button, and you can do all those fancy chords. You see what I mean? I mean, why do you want to go through that? I didn't. If I knew I had that, I would have been. Oh, and the other one is the transposer. I learned how to transpose everything because I accompanied singers, and they never came in with music in the key they sang in. They said, well, I sing in B flat if the music's in C. I had to transpose it. And I was pretty good because I did it many, many singers. Now, if I would have had that darn transposer, I just touch it, and I would have had the music in a different key. So, okay. So anyway, tricks of the trade. There's so many. I have 10 weeks of it, and I've added even a couple of more things. But I'm going to start just giving you some of the basic thumbs that I can do quickly. And if some of you I know are in my classes or had me before, Robert's going to print this up. It's a guideline of how a song is structured. Some of you know already that have been around a long time. We have what is called 32 measure songs, and we have 12 measure songs, and then we have the rock and roll songs. So, and all of them have different ways of learning how to add and subtract sounds as you're playing. So if you don't know, we went through that while I was on a break here with somebody showing that. So Robert's going to print this up and about how we do this, because most of the basic songs from the 1900s, you should write this down, to about 1950, that's 50 years, were written in more 32 measure song structure, which means if you know what a measure is, hopefully you know what a measure is, okay? And they were divided up into eighths. 8, 8, and 8. And if I times 8 by 4, what does that add up to? 32, correct? So 8 is the first phrase, 8 measures the second phrase, 8 measures the third phrase, and the last one, another 8. And usually, and you might have heard this word, many of you think called a bridge. A bridge is the third 8, which means it's after the 24th measure. Got it? So after the 24th measure is the bridge of the song. What's the bridge of the song? It's usually different than the melody. And it goes for, most of the time, 8 measures. Then the end of the song is repeating what was at the beginning of the song. That's the last 8. So I always train people to memorize a song, memorize the first 8 measures, and you should know 8, 8, and the last 8, you should know 24 measures of the song. So what you really got to practice is learning what is called the bridge. So the bridge is where I always start to practice a song. I always start from the bridge, because the bridge is the only part that's different. So tricks of the trade again. How do you practice? Practice from the bridge first. Once you learn the first part, you can play 24 measures of it. So which would you rather do, right? So you want to get the song. People say, I don't know how to memorize. Memorize the bridge. And it's so funny. Dennis will probably shoot me for saying this. Dennis whenever he does a medley, which is what we're going to really get into, something called a medley, he only does the first 16 of a song. Then he goes into another song. He goes into another song. Because all he has to memorize is 8 measures. He hardly ever plays the bridge of a song. He'll go through a medley of all kinds of songs. I mean, 50 of them in a row. And the bridge is gone because, that's good enough. He does it. He goes on to the next one. But he knows the bridge. But I'm just saying, in a medley, he can get, I don't know how many songs together by skipping the bridge of the song. So he plays the first 8 because it makes it quite easy, okay? So understand. Now, the good part about this, and the last thing I want to say about the structure, is somebody said, well, why do I need all these different sounds? Well, this tells you when you want to change the registration of the instrument. I don't know about you, just to hear the same song played with same sounds for 32 measures, I think is a little boring. I mean, after a while, can't you change the sound? Oh, well, I'll change it. You can't just change it any old time. What would be the best place to change the registration to make a different sound in the melody is in the bridge of the song. So you would play the bridge with a different sound, and then you can go back to what you started. Now you're sounding more professional. My class here just yelled it out. That was good. So that's it. So that's the basics of it, guys. That's how we start. Okay? Now, in 12 measures, write this down. In 12 measures, you have country music, you have blues, you have boogie-woogie. All of those are country, blues, boogie-woogie, and folk music. What did I say? 12 measures, right. Blues, country, boogie-woogie. Most of those are all 12-measure songs. So in most of those, you play 12 measures. After you go back, you change it. You don't try to change it in the middle. I did a 12-measure song in my concert. Let me put on a sound here real quick here. So now I'm going to, wait, I want to get it. I want to repeat it, so when I'm going to repeat it, I want to change the sound. So I can go and do a different effect on there. So I can do, let's go into nostalgia here, real quick here, nostalgia. Okay. So if I'm going to repeat it, I'm going to hit it with a different sound. So when you repeat a 12-measure phrase, song, you repeat the second time you change the sounds, okay?
How do you change the sound? You memorize things and put them in different sounds?
Well, if you've got a display window, it'll actually tell you in the display what are the 10 buttons.
Joe, can you repeat the question?
The question was, how does she know what to change to in a song? And I said, depending on your organ, some of you might have 10 buttons in front of you. Some maybe have 4, some maybe have 2. It all depends on the organ you have. All of these 10 setups are different sounds of that you will play. So if I play, So all of them are different. Not only that, they're different on the lower keyboard. What's that one in there for? I don't know about you, but they put a dog in there for that one. But anyway, so you actually have 10 on the upper, you got 10 on the lower. That's 20 different sounds you have if you've got an organ that has those presets. And the more presets you have, the more different sounds you have. Question.
In a song, which ones would you think would sound better for that song?
Oh, good question. He says, which ones would sound better? Who's got the ears playing? You do.
The player.
But if you make a mistake and put a...
Well, if you don't like it, then you push another button.
Yeah,
But you got
you're
to.
playing a concert.
Well, you don't wait until you practice. You practice at home, and you go through the. Oh, you know what? I like number 1. I like number 4. I like number 8. So you mark down which ones you like on the top of your music. Or memorize it. Right. You don't go and you play 20 different sounds. That's not the way you do it. So the question was, how does she know? Well, you have to experiment. I rest assure you, if we had 60-some people, 80-some people on here, if I went around and I said, I'm going to play this song, what would you play it? I bet I'd have 25 different sounds that I'd get out of everybody there. They say, oh, I like it with piano. I like it with violin. I like it with strings. Oh, I want it with organ. All of us are different. That's the fun of a better organ. The better the organ, the more versatility you have in changing sounds, that you can have fun. And that's what you have to do, you know. So experiment and write down. One of my workshop is, it says here, one of my workshops that I have, because like I said, I have about 10 of these. On the bottom it says, save your work. Because I don't know about you, I forget. And I went back to, what did I do there? Write it down in the song or where you can understand it. I use number 1, number 3, number 5. And I write right on the bottom. What does it say? Save your work. So, and it will always be good to know. And when I do a concert, I sometimes have notes up here. It's not really music. I have number 1, number 4, number 6. What is that telling me? As I'm playing, I'm going to push what? 1, 6, 8. You see, it's reminding me which ones I'm going to change in the song. So I'm doing that all the time. You should do the same. So that's the trick of sounding more professional, okay? So we'll get a copy of this, and there's all kinds of things that we could talk about, articulations, grace notes, slides, and all this, the glissandos. But what I wanted to get into, I did something called a medley. And this is where you should take some notes now. This is important. Okay, the keys a key. What's a key? Sometimes I have to explain it. The key is usually the last chord of the song. So look at the end of the song, and if this last chord is C, that means the song is structured in the key of C. If the last chord of the song is F, that means the song is structured in the key of F.
So you transpose to that?
Wait. Got an audience here. Wait. Okay. Now, if you're in the key of G, that means the last chord is G. The whole song is structured in G. So if I wanted an introduction to that song in the key of G, I touch G in my easy play, and that does the introduction to me playing in that song. Correct, everybody? If it's in the key of C, I touch C. If it's in the key of F, I touch F. If it's in the key of A minor, I play A and C, and it will do the introduction for me to play in the key of A minor. So again, the last chord. Got it so far? But what happens if I want to do a medley and the one song I play is in the key of G, and the next song I want to play is in the key of C? What do I do? Just go into it like I do Somewhere My Love. I'm going to do Somewhere My Love. Very easy. I'm going to put the strings on. Now that's in the key of G. But if I were to go into the song Around the World, that's another waltz, it's in the key of C. So I just finished playing in the key of, I just don't go right into this. That's just, it's too, you don't do that. Okay, so before you go into a new song in a different key, there are certain what we call transition chords, which is a chord which will lead you into the new key. Okay, so you're going to write this down. This is important. Got it? If I'm in the key of C, okay, the chord you want to play before you start the key of C is going to be G7. G7, that's F and G. That means before I start the song in the key of C, I have to play a what chord? A G7. So I'm going to go G7. And then I'm going to go into the next song. And that song is in the key of C. So before I go into a song in the key of C, I have to play what chord? G7. Now what's cool about this, you can play that as long as you want, because you are the composer. So if I were playing, let's go back to this waltz that I was doing. I just finished in the key of G. I'm going to go to the next song in the key of C now. Watch, I'm just going to hit the G7th chord. Now I did a perfect transition between the key of G and what did I hit? The next song was in the key of C. So I played G7, and you can play and add as many measures as you want. Nobody's going to rush you. You can just play that G7 chord, and when you're ready to play the song, start the new song.
Does the key of the G7 for any medley?
No, that's only going into the key of C.
Oh, going into C.
All right, let me repeat it. Remember, if you're going to, the song is in the key of C. To go into a song in the key of C, you're going to play G7. Okay, now, if you're in the key of F, the chord you play before you go into the F key is C7. That's B flat and C. So you have to play C7. Now, that's very important that you remember before you go into that new key, you have to know what key you're going to. If you're in the key of G, you play D7. That's C and D. So, okay, I'm playing the song in the key of C. I just finished it. I want to go to G key. The next song is in G. So what chord do I need to play before I go to the G? D7. Okay, I just finished in the key of G. My next song in my music, I want to play the next one. It's in the key of F. I have to play C7. So I play C7. So every time I go into that new key, I have to always play the chord of the new key. So so my medley I did a medley of Tijuana Brass. Let's see if we can figure it out. The first one was in the key of C. That's what I played. But the next song I played was in the key of F. What chord did I play before I played the new song of Tijuana Brass in the key of F? What chord did I play? C7.
C7.
Very good. Now from that, I went into Lonely Bull. Lonely Bull was in the key of G. What chord did I play before I went into that new key? D.
D7.
Very good. And then I finish back in the key of C. So what chord did I play to get back into the new key again? G7. That's how I did the medley. You got it? That's how they blended in together. Wow.
That's in any rhythm?
Any rhythm,
Or anything?
you have to remember, you got to know the key you're going into. Now, there are other keys if you want them for those that are playing fancy keys like B flat. If you're in the key of B flat, that has those flats there, you have the transition chord is F7. F7, that's F and E flat. If you're in the key of E flat, like Misty is really written in E flat, and that chord you need to go into that key is B flat. And I'll give you two more, which are hard ones, because sometimes there's minors, like I do Summertime, that's the prettiest, in A minor. But I don't always start with it. I may start with a different song, but then I'll go into Summertime. How do I get to it? It's in A minor. So if I, in the key of A minor, which is, I play E7, that's D and E.
Is there anywhere you can get those?
No, you just, remember, you're adding extra measures when you finish the song. You are putting in that chord. The last one I'm going to give you is D minor. If you're in the key of D minor, then you play A7. A7, that's G and A. So now here's a little medley. Let me just, I'm going to put on the, just for piano's sake, not because I don't want to clutter this up, I want you to hear it. So I'm taking off all the stuff. So I'm going to play the, so I'm going to do, oh, let's see, I might do, I think of a nice ballad. This is in the key of C. Okay, but the next song I want to do is Summertime. It's in A minor. What chord do I have to play?
E7.
You got it. There it is. See how nice sounding that was when I went in from one? So I finished the song. Okay, now I want to go to a song that's in the key of F. So what chord do I play?
D7.
D7.
Right. Now I want to play Misty. It's a hard one. It's in E flat. What do I have to play? B flat. There it is. Okay? See how every one of them will blend in perfectly with the transition chord. Follow? So you've got to play that chord. Doesn't matter how long you want to sit on it, you just hit it. You don't have to do anything extra. If you only figure you don't want to play any notes in the right hand, just hit the chord. Now, if I do 3 songs in the key of C, guess what I do before I play each song? Play what chord? G7. Even though it's the same key, I always give myself the lead in to the new song, even if it's the same key. So don't think, well, I'm just going to go into the new song. Because you want to make a new entrance to the song. Follow? So even if it's the same key, you still need the transition chord. So last thing I like to do. Here we go. I have some fun now. This is fun. This is fun for me. Watch this. It's in the key of C. I'm going to go into Bill Bailey. It's in the key of F.
7.
I hit what chord? C7.
C7.
I'm in F. I have a song in the key of C. I'm back into C because I hit what chord? G7. Yes! I go right into the new song by hitting that new chord. So when you're playing, don't just think that, well, you want to just play one and go into the next. You got to make it more professional. And making it more professional has nothing to do with your talent or how well you can play. Just hit that chord, play until you're ready to play it, and you'll see how beautiful one song blends into the next. I hope you guys got a good. Any questions out there? I know I see some heads popping up.
I have one. Sue Kelly calling, asking you, what if you play the wrong transition chord? What if you don't go to the right chord to have a smooth sound?
Well, let me ask you this: if your ear tells you you like it, that's your choice.
I
Does
wonder,
that answer your
will it
question?
sound terrible?
Yes,
Okay,
but if your ear tells you that's what you like,
correct.
you got it. But if it really, really will not sound good.
Okay.
So there are certain chords. Now,
I was hoping that would be true.
I gave you only one chord. There's actually a series of chords that you can do in leading in, but that's the basic chord to go and
So
do.
if it doesn't sound like the wrong chord, but it is, it doesn't matter then.
Right.
Because you can't tell anyway.
Yeah, you can't tell anyway. But
So just keep playing and have fun.
I hope you guys got something out of this. This is really the key to having fun. And some of those beginner songs are so short.
Yeah.
You could do a medley and make it sound really nice, like "Go Susanna" and even Bill Bailey is really. When the Saints is short, and music. Some of those beginner songs, you could do a nice little medley of playing those all together. Okay, thank you, Robert.
All right, and I was watching some of this in
is
the
there a
office.
question?
We
Is
have
there a question?
one more question, or they're applauding.
Oh, thank you.
They're applauding. I was watching in the other room. I have it up there, and I have some people trying to really. Oh, what did he say? What did he say? Well, this is recorded, so you can always go back and watch it. You just got to be a Patreon member, okay? So just go on Patreon, and we're there. So let's give a round of applause to Joe, everybody,
you,
for that workshop. My applause is better.
Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
And Joe will be back to Florida in 2 days, right? Tuesday,
Yes.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
All right.